4 AWS services you probably don't know about. Number 1, AWS CodeWhisperer. AWS CodeWhisperer is a special service helping you with your code. It helps you to autocomplete your code. It helps you also write the code completely without you need to code anything or you need to understand it. That's pretty good. And it also provides additional features like integration with your IDE. And that's something that I want to show you really fast. I already imported the Boto3 library. And when you look at the command that I create, so it's very simple. You can use Alt-C or Option-C for Mac if you want to enforce your learning or enforce the machine learning to provide you an answer for the missing code or help you with your code. So here I wrote just code lambda function that downloads the data from URL, specific URL, and uploads it to S3 bucket named blah blah blah, and notify via SNS topic. And it's very simple. I just hit enter, and after I hit enter, you see here down there is a CodeWhisperer calling the server, and I'm using my AWS profile default with my builder ID. So I need to contact the server on AWS, and then every time when I hit enter, it processes my data and it gives me an advice. With tab, I just complete the whole function. So it will tell me, okay, here is your S3 resource, here is your bucket, and download the data and SNS topic, everything. And it also knows which profile I'm using, so I don't need to fill my account ID. So then I hit enter, and because there is a used function get data here, so because of that specific function, I need to complete it. So I will hit enter and then tab, enter, and again it will process for a while, but it's super fast. This machine learning engine is super fast. Then I will hit again tab and enter, and now it will process the code and it will tell me if something is missing. So it's super easy, it's super cool, and it helps you just based on the description that you provide here. Obviously, I need to delete that because that's not proper command for Python. But this helps you a lot without even knowing coding. So this is low code, no code approach from AWS, and I love it. And if you are a security fan, I prepared for you a very small script with some vulnerabilities. And of course, CodeWhisperer is in preview, but that's fine. You can try it too. And you can pause the auto notification or auto suggestions. But what I can do, I can run the security scan. So it will again use a machine learning for analyzing my code, and it will tell me where are the security flaws in the specified code. So I'll make it a little bit bigger here, and you see that there is a resource leak on 3 different locations in my code, and you see that this is detected by CodeWhisperer. So it will tell me, okay, you have a problem, and also it will tell you that that can cause slowdown or crash the system. And that are just examples, and I'm sure that AWS will work on that. Number 2, AWS Resource Explorer. I know that it can be confusing to find anything in your account. And you are writing lots of scripts, you are using a Python, your CDK, just to get the information who did what, and basically who is the sinner who created some resources. So for that, there is a new service, and it is really good. It's AWS Resource Explorer. You can turn it on. You can do quick setup like I do. And I can say, okay, I'm interested in the region. Okay, for example, Ireland. I will click on that. Service access, the cost, okay. It's provided with no additional cost, so that's also important. And then I will turn it on. So you see here that it's progress overview. You see that where is the success. It creates indexes, and then I will proceed to resource search. And this is very cool. So you can search based on different criteria. Here you see that I'm using the Ireland. When you will click on info, it will tell you more information about the Resource Explorer. And I can say, okay, EC2, and I will try to find all the EC2 instances. Or I want to find S3 buckets, so it will find all the S3 buckets for the specific account. Or security groups. Security group, and it will find all the security groups in this region. So you can have different queries. There's also specific language that you can use. There's a service, tags. So for example, tag prod, I will say, okay, tag production. If I have something, I don't have anything production here. So you can use different queries to search through your resources. You can create different views. So you can click on create view. You can create it from the different region perspective. You can include only resources that are specified in a specific filter. It's pretty cool. And in the settings, you also can play with your indexes. So you can change the index types if it should be aggregated or local. The aggregator research from every AWS region that contains Resource Explorer index. And this is only the local index is just from the one region that you selected. Pretty cool service. Please look at that. I think that it will save hundreds of hours of searching for you. Number 3, AWS Network Access Analyzer. Next great service is a Network Access Analyzer. I will click here and I will show you. It's a part of the Network Manager, which is a VPC feature. And you can look what is here. So for example, the network access scope for the VPC ingress, egress, and you can basically analyze the paths in the egress or egress scope for your resources. So I can say, okay, you can duplicate or modify. You can manage the tags. You can create the network access scope. I can click on this one and it will create. You can identify the access from internet gateways to internet gateways, from trusted networks, identify non-permissible traffic. So lots of different things. So what I want to do, I can click on analyze and it will run an analysis. And it will tell you, okay, there is a scope definition, identify the paths to internet gateways, to peering connection, to VPC endpoints. You don't need to bother with Nmap. You don't need to bother with yourself with Wireshark, just checking where the traffic flows. You need to get comprehensive, full information on what is happening in your account. And you can click on past analysis and you see here findings detected. This is the one that is running. This is the one that are already completed before, and you can check the previous scan, so you can compare together the results from this analysis. You can delete it. You can delete all, and you can select specific ENI. So for example, my ENI unicorns, you can click on that and it will direct you to EC2. That's not what I wanted, but it will show you that the ENI is attached to a specific instance. There is an outbound header. So for the TCP protocol, it will tell you how it looks like. Then it goes to security group, then the ACL, there's a routing table, what's the origin, what's the root, what's the gateway ID, and what's the VPC endpoint, including the inbound header. All of these great information in one service. 100 engineers from 100 engineers recommend that. Number 4, AWS Network Reachability Analyzer. Another completely epic tool is a reachability analyzer. So if you want to know from where and how your resources are reachable, you can use reachability analyzer. I will create a path. I will name it Marek. That's my name. I will say instance. I will select, for example, the med headers. I will say, okay, the optional destination type. If I'm able to reach specific instance. For example, no, I will say internet gateway, and I will say, okay, this is my gateway. And then I will say no IP address, and the destination port, I will say 443 if they are reachable, and on which protocol, if it is TCP or UDP, and I can tag it, and then it will create and analyze the path. So there is a summary of the path ID, latest analysis. The reachability status takes some time, and then you have the analysis for the specific runs. So reachability status, if there is a state, you will see the pending, and then it is still in process. So I will pause the video now and return back to show you the results. So analysis is finally completed, and you see that the reachability status is not reachable. Analysis succeeded, so that means the analysis is successful, but the resources that I specified are not reachable to each other. Think about that. If you are doing like Nmap scan or ping scan or whenever, some protocols like ICMP are not enabled by default. So you will be maybe not able to reach the instances with your tools, but it doesn't mean that instances are not reachable at all. So when you will look at the not reachable status, you see that the destination is not reachable, and then there are explanations. So the source of the query is this VPC, destination is another VPC, and these VPCs are not connected by the supported resources. And then it provides a JSON documentation or the details about why it is not reachable. Isn't that cool? Thanks for watching and see you next time.